Hey everyone, I'm Chelsea McGough and welcome to my very first track breakdown. So today I'm going to be talking about retreat, and I'm so excited to be talking about this one because it's one of the very first ones I created on my own, and it's still one of my favorites today. And if you're not familiar with retreat, find the link in the description box to listen to it. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you my session, showing you some of the sounds I'm using, as well as a few things I've learned along the way. So something that has been really helpful for me in my creative process is the use of restrictions. It may seem counterintuitive, but restrictions can be really good for your creativity. So in the past, when I am tripping up in my creative process, it's not because of a lack of creativity, it's because I'm using so much time and energy sifting through options. So placing some restrictions on your project before you start can actually enable your creativity to flow even easier. So the restrictions that I put on retreat were no super strong melody, very minimal harmonic movement, very minimal percussion or rhythm, and those restrictions really forced me to get creative with how I utilize the cello and the different textures and sounds I can get out of the cello. So before we dive in, I have one more thought for people who are just starting out in production. The plugins that I'm using in this session are almost exclusively stock Logic plugins. And if you are a beginner and you're just starting out working in Logic or Pro Tools or Ableton, I highly recommend that you start with the stock plugins in your DAW. The world of plugins is amazing. There are a million of them, but when you're starting out, the goal is just to get familiar and comfortable with the ones you already have. So start with those, and then as you grow and or get tired of them, then move on to third-party plugins. Okay, so here's my session, and first glance, it looks like there's not a whole lot going on, but here's the deal. You don't need 20, 30, 40 tracks in a session for something to sound rich and full. Minimal can still be just as captivating, and you'll also notice that there's a good amount of space in between some of these things, and just because there's space in your session doesn't mean that it sounds empty. So let's now dive into some of the sounds. All right, so I'm going to start with this cello drone, and I'll solo this for you. It's kind of the sound that ties everything together. This is the sound that I built everything around, and I love it. So what is making this so awesome is this delay harmonizer thing. If you're in Logic, you can find this under complex pitch shifted, and it's the percolating preset. But I'm going to turn this off really quick and show you what I'm doing without the delay. That's it. I'm playing one note, and it's a G harmonic. And when I turn this on, it somehow creates this chord from that one note. I don't know how it works. I just know it's awesome. So I just let that go for a while, and little EQ on there. The cello drone octave up is the same thing, but towards the end of the track, when I'm wanting things to get more intense, I decided to add the octave up. But same delay. Okay, so next is this high harmonic. And that's just me doing 2 artificial harmonics on my cello. And I have some stereo delay here as well as some reverb. I know I talked a little bit earlier about using stock Logic plugins, but this is the one exception, using the Soundtoys Little Plate Reverb. It's one of my favorites, and it was also my first plugin. Aww. Okay, the cello melody. It's just a low E flat G C, and I put my reverb on a bus, same Soundtoys Little Plate Reverb. And the first half of Retreat really is just kind of placing these little tidbits of sounds here and there and letting them kind of play with each other. Okay, now on to the Cello Thunder. This is my second favorite sound in this track. Here's it soloed. So what I did, I'm going to take the pedal board off here. This is what the Cello Thunder is with no plugins. It's just the cello melody. I just copied and pasted it onto a different track. But what makes it sound awesome is this octave pedal in the pedal board plugin. And I have the drive all the way to the left. And with a little bit of reverb, it makes it sound really awesome and growly. I kind of wanted it to sound like thunder off in the distance somewhere. Okay, so moving on to the piano. The piano is the only thing in Retreat that's offering any harmonic structure, so I kind of wanted this to stand out a little bit. So I am using Alchemy, which is a sampler synth plugin in Logic, and I'm using the Outer Lands synth preset, and with a little bit of reverb, this is what it sounds like. Okay, and second to last sound is the perk. This is what it sounds like. Super simple. I wanted it to be almost like a heartbeat that just is very constant and steady and just goes throughout the whole thing. Because there's so many other things kind of swimming around, I wanted something just super steady. So I am using the Boom Bap preset under the drum machine plugin here. And I think it's just like a kick drum. But yeah, that goes throughout the whole thing. And then last sound, when, as you can see, everything's kind of coming together towards the end, I needed some kind of shimmery texture to kind of lift everything. So I found this sound called Shimmering Void in Alchemy. Sounds kind of eerie, but it works perfectly. The only other sound that comes in later is this cello harmony. It's just the melody kind of stretched out. I put that on a separate track because I wanted that melody and all the other parts to be kind of on top of each other a little bit. So that's pretty much it. I know there's not a whole lot going on, which I love, but the good thing about the cello is that it's a pretty rich and full sounding instrument. So personally, I don't even use that many effects most of the time. Just some reverb and delay usually gives me plenty to work with. So that's pretty much it. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment below of what you enjoyed, what was your favorite part, what was helpful, and even which one you'd like me to do next. So thanks for watching.